Crime is everywhere and constantly on the rise. Quick and easy cases are solved daily, but what about those more sinister and cold cases that remain to be solved? Join Ashley Marino as she dives into the horror of some of these cases and sheds some light on what is truly behind the realm of darkness. Here is your host, Ashley Marino.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Realm of Darkness. The guest tonight he's just going to pop up. That's what he's doing tonight.
Hi.
Some of you may know Mike Hatcher. He is a PARAFlixx Executive Producer, life coach, founder of Beyond the Dimensions, editor of Sleepless and Salamanca, maker of Black Mirrors, all kinds of talents. So everyone say hello to Mike.
Howdy. I literally had a spider running up my leg, so I freaked out there for a minute.
At least it's live. It'd be funny to watch. So tell us, what have you been up to lately in the paranormal field? What's going on? Where have you been hiding?
Really, in paranormal, and I want to correct what you said. You said founder of Beyond the Dimensions. It's co-founder. You and I founded it together.
Yes.
But really, paranormal, I haven't really been doing too much, other than, reforming Beyond the Dimensions with you and, the addition of Melody, which I'm excited for. But really, I took a step back from the paranormal for a while. It was kind of burning me out, and a lot of drama. You see a lot of the drama going around, and I've been involved in it. I've been a part of it, and it just got to a point where it was just too much, and I put a lot more focus on PARAFlixx and really spending time with myself, finding myself, and really just kind of changing everything about me. It's really weird. I listen to country music off and on now.
That's not you.
I know. I used to make fun of you for going to country fest.
You did. You always made fun of me. But so taking a step back, do you feel like that kind of changed the way you look at it? I know it did great things for us and our friendship and the projects that we had, but do you feel like taking a step back and kind of seeing it for what it is kind of changed your minds?
Honestly, it wasn't really taking a step back from the paranormal that really changed everything. I feel like it was more of just my life saying, hey, you're at a turning point now where it's either now or never. You're either going to be stuck in this one way in your this mindset, or you have the ability to change it. It's now or never. And I think I just kind of ended up just letting spirit and intuition, whatever, just guide me. And I just let go of everything and said, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, paranormal took a big hit, and I just kind of walked away for a while.
But that's not a bad thing, because you're coming back after what, maybe a year kind of off doing things more behind the scenes, and you're coming back full force. You've got projects, you've got filming, you've got Paracons. It seems like your plate is just full already.
Yeah, but we do it to ourselves.
Well, yes.
It has, I, not just me, but you and I, we were talking, and we reformed Beyond the Dimensions, and it was a big thing, when we first released it on PARAFlixx, and having to go through everything that we did personally. It was a big thing to just see this reconnection of a team, that when you first got in this field, it was with me, and there's that spider again. So we had our issues, that I'm sure a lot of people know about, and it's one of those things that people can step back and see, what, that is what this field should really be about. And not even just this field, but life, is being able to understand, overcome, forgive, move on, and just, so I think the reforming of Beyond the Dimensions just took this whole other grasp of, I don't want to use the word para-unity because I think it's stupid, but it's just some sort of unity is what it did. And we were able to grab Melody, who was going through a lot of stuff, and bringing people on board that the field has changed them, and we've just kind of been able to grab and magnetically just gravitate people towards us, and we've been able to get on Paracons, and we're ready to film our first documentary, and I'm excited to go.
I am too, and I have to agree. I think a year ago when we first came up with Beyond Dimensions and had it going, and we had a different teammate, the filming that we had, I loved it because we were both on the same page. I am not huge on equipment, and I know you're not either. So the way that we were doing things was great. And even though there was a little bit of a falling out, coming back, I feel like both of us are in different places, still on the same page, but we're both stronger. We're both, more independent. And I think, we were great the first time around, but I think this time around, especially adding Melody and adding Robin into it and some other teammates that haven't been announced yet, adding all these people, the talent that we have this round is mind blowing. And I am excited to see where this goes.
I also have to say, I think the whole dynamic is going to be a lot different. You've gotten a lot more comfortable with the abilities that you have yourself. And I've also been able, just by taking some time back, I've been meditating. I've been doing just a lot with my mind itself lately. And I've been able to tap into other abilities that I didn't know I had. Like what was it, about a week or two ago when I texted you, I was like, hey, I'm in this meditative state, and I just saw you and your throat lit up purple. I was like, are you in this situation? And you were like, oh my God, yes. Like, that was just so random. And that's one of the things that I've been able to do lately. And it's some pretty cool stuff. It really is.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to be awesome. And those are things that we're going to have to try during filming just to see how far we can push ourselves. Because like we did in the beginning, neither one of us are big on equipment. And that's one thing that I love, because I felt, unlike other teams, our EVPs, if I hit the floor, my chair is creaking, just to let everybody know. So if I just disappear, it's because my chair broke. It'd make for a great blooper. But no, I the way that we would go in with our abilities and our senses, and we had some of the best EVPs that I think I've ever seen anybody have, and they were so clear. And I feel like that's.
Oh, hi, Courtney. I miss you so much. Sorry, I saw Courtney's comments, and fuck you, Bill.
Beep.
Yeah. Hi, Courtney.
But no, you did a lot of the editing. Do you agree that the lack of noisy equipment helped us catch things that other people haven't caught?
I would say so. I also believe, and we hear it a lot in the field, that spirits. Oh yeah, we're not on Unfiltered. Sorry, Bill. They say the spirits only have so much energy. So when you go into a room and you're all watching this box, who's to say that spirit has enough energy to light it up? Who's to say that they just don't have it? So when we go into a natural environment, my whole thing behind the original Beyond the Dimensions was, let's just walk around with cameras, give them the microphones to talk, see if they associate with us, and just kind of see what voices we're picking up. And that was really what it was about. And we got a lot of feedback just based upon the Class A EVPs that were captured and the amount. So
I know. I think watching the OSR episode, some of the EVPs we're getting, especially I don't know if you remember, but when you walked the wrong way and went into the cage and you hear an EVP go, Mike, it was kind of like you're going the wrong way.
The creepiest one was the one when we were actually listening to the EVP in my phone, and it's in the episode. You just hear this female go, "They're listening."
Yes.
And it was so clear.
That was at Hinsdale, I believe. Yeah. For anybody who hasn't seen it, we're really, really excited. I'm sure you guys have kind of seen it on our Facebook, but the episodes are hitting PARAFlixx on Saturday. Mike, what time are they hitting?
8 p.m. Central. I will have to check the time zone. But
I always say Eastern, and I'm always wrong.
I think. Actually, I don't know the time. I just know July 8th. Anytime, July 8th. Just check PARAFlixx.
Yeah, so we'll be back on there, and you guys will be able to see some of the cool things. At Hinsdale, that was our very first time ever investigating. Our very first time investigating as a team, because you and I had gone to a UNI event.
Yeah, we've done Wildwood.
Yeah, because you were a guest and I went with you. So we kind of investigated there, but Hinsdale was really the first time we investigated as a team. And I just remember everything that happened, looking at you at the end of the night and being like, I will never come back to this location because of the event. How many times have you
been back?
Like 5. But
and I have not been back.
Which
not by choice. It's just so hard to get into.
It is. It's a great location. But I mean, you're going back in a couple weeks.
I am excited, but I'm not going to investigate.
No, but you're going to be
Other
at
people
Hinsdale.
Are. Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, that night was crazy. And thinking back on that, I don't know if we would have had the same reactions we would like now. I don't know if
it'd be different. I think, last time, and you see it in the episode, we weren't able to stay at Hinsdale. It was a little crazy. It went from a paranormal investigation to spiritual warfare, essentially.
And you say not able to stay, but I'm pretty sure Jason and I were begging to go stay at Wildwood.
You guys were. I say I wasn't going to throw you under the bus.
Oh, I will. I will throw myself.
Bus.
I did not want to stay there. You'll have to watch the episode, but I would have slept in my car. I would have taken on the bears before I would have taken on the spirits of Hinsdale.
But yeah, I'm excited to head out there again and swim in the pond, and I'm going to enjoy myself. I am relaxing with some cool people all weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event. I mean, it's July 28th and 29th, correct?
Yep.
And it'll be you and Melody Knapp and Robin Ramsey and Dan will be there. And
you got Paul Kenyon. He was there during the exorcism on the house. John Ward, who just newly authors Scareville books. He'll be there. Excited to have him. He's a good guy. I miss working with him too.
Yeah, he'll have to join us on one of the investigations for sure.
Well, he's not writing.
That's all he does now is write books. But I mean, if anybody wants to join, I unfortunately will be in Arizona, so I won't be there. But all of them will, the entire team. You guys can still get tickets. They're still available. Hit up Mike if you're not really sure how to get them. You can message me too. But tickets are still available. And it's going to be camping and campfire stories and kind of talking to the team and and a little bit of investigating. And am I missing anything?
I don't think so. Yeah, you can swim, you can fish, investigate if you want. We're definitely gonna be cooking out. I think the last night I'm gonna order pizza, have a big old pizza party. It'll be fun. It'll be like just people, hanging out, camping, like you're camping. But
just on one of the most infamous haunted locations in the world, which makes it even better. But with that, we went to a couple different locations together. We went to Hinsdale, Wildwood, SK Pierce. We went to Old South Pittsburgh. So many different locations. Is there any one situation that kind of sticks out in your mind?
It will forever be the pasta that we ordered at the hotel room and just slammed and watched PARAFlixx all night. That will forever be the best.
Okay, so that sounds, yes, we drove technically
about
it was
10, 11 hours.
It was supposed to be 10, but there was also a blizzard and I was having a panic attack in the front seat. And we were investigating SK Pierce and everyone was in the hotel and we ordered those monster pasta dishes. Yeah, and we were snowed in until the next day where we got to go investigate. Probably the best pasta ever at 2 o'clock in the morning.
We ordered all that pasta after visiting like 3 breweries.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fart. Remember the fart?
Oh my God. In the middle of the restaurant. I think that's the only time I've ever literally cried sitting at a table because the guy's face behind you, he was mortified.
I will never forget.
And slightly impressed all at the same time.
He knew it was funny.
Awful. Well, and then the church that we went to.
I remember that.
And I don't know. It was a great weekend. It was
I
a
don't
great
remember
trip.
I don't remember what I did at the church, or was it just going to the church?
It was just going to the church.
Oh, that church was fun.
I mean, it was beautiful. It was shut down, but it was gorgeous. I don't know. I still remember. Okay, so not SK Pierce, Old South Pittsburgh, and I'm going to bring up Christy Grissom, when her and I were in the pharmacy section, and she saw that thing on the ceiling crawling I don't know what this was, but like crawling toward us, and we heard that loud noise, and we ran and ran and ran, and we stopped about halfway down the hallway, and you could hear like footsteps chasing us, and Chrissy looks at me and she goes, "Run."
I remember you guys talking about that, but
and
I wasn't there for that, but
no, but we ran literally through the entire hospital floor, down a flight of stairs. We were screaming for you guys. I mean, yelling for you and David at the top of our lungs.
Meanwhile, I'm running into chairs and desks and stuff.
And you guys were like, I don't know how you guys didn't hear us, but we were done. We were done after that.
I don't remember ever hearing you guys yell for us.
Yeah, because after we like went outside and took a minute, then we came in, you guys were right there. We're like, really? Where were you when we were being chased by this black creature crawling on the ceiling?
I blocked a lot of that trip out. I didn't really block a lot of it out. It just wasn't a good place for me to be at the time.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's not always the safest thing to go on investigations and mindsets like that. You have to be careful, but
it was it was definitely a nice trip to get out, especially, to see you and Jason and Dave and Christy. But, it was just the location, the area I just wasn't happy about. But
well, that just means we'll have to make a trip.
I'm over it, though. I'm over it.
We'll have to call them. But that's a good way to go into life coaching.
No, geez, you're going to make me talk
about
it, aren't you?
I am going to make you talk about it because you're part of this paranormal world, and like you said, there can be a lot of drama, but there are some incredible, amazing people who we both have created great friendships with. And then you say that you're going into life coaching as well. Was there a tie to it? Was it the drama, or was it just something you've always wanted to do?
Well, do you want the short version or do you want the long version?
I want the juicy version.
You want the details. This will take the rest of the show.
We want the tea, Mike.
This will take the rest of the show. Oh, you got Dr. Pepper too. See, Bill, your daughter knows what's up.
Look. Oh, wait, where's it at? There it is.
Sure ain't Pepsi.
Nope.
So I guess I'll get into the juicy details. So one of the reasons I got into life coaching, and eventually I'll get into it, but paranormal really did set the way for where I am now, pretty much. So you hear the term a lot in paranormal field, shadow work. And after everything had happened, after you and I and Jason and the split up of, Beyond the Dimensions. Actually, this was before, I believe I was just starting to study a little bit of shadow work.
Yeah, right towards the end you were.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I'll see what it's about. And I was kind of following it. I was kind of studying it. I was getting into it. And I don't really remember what was going on around the time that specific things happened. And, I've opened up on a few other podcasts. I've opened up on Unfiltered. And one of the things that I'm going to open up about is really what is my main story that got me where I am today and the person I've become. So my wife and I always start with this is because I want everybody to know how our relationship really is and really was. So I met my wife, for those of you that don't know, I was 14, she was 11. Been best friends ever since. So in the beginning of our relationship and our marriage, one of the things that I have always started out saying is I was a big piece of shit. I was a big piece of shit. I was never physically abusive, I will just say that, but I was very verbal, emotional, I was a drunk. I was a full-blown, I drank, I just the way I was. Well, in the midst of all that, at the same time while I'm doing this, there were times in our marriage where I felt undermined as a parent because my stepson's not mine. I felt like things that I wanted to discipline or things that I wanted to do, it was always her way or no way. So because I was always drinking and I was always the way I was and she was the way she was, it got to a point where I felt like I wasn't wanted. I felt like I wasn't needed, wasn't wanted around. Nobody wanted to, pay any time with me. So I would drown myself in work, which is another reason why I stepped away from paranormal, which is another reason why I stopped designing so much. I would just drown myself in work. It would work 10 hours a day, come home, edit a documentary, design for PARAFlixx, design for Beyond the Dimensions, edit for other people. So it got to a point where it's literally all I was doing. And it was pulling my wife and I apart. It really was. And she was going through some things. And she ended up having an emotional affair with another guy. It kind of went sour. I was told it was nothing any more than nothing sexual. I won't get into that, but yeah. I was told that it was never any of that. And when I found out, I'm not going to get into the full details. We kind of went our separate ways for a couple days. I wanted to get my head on straight. She wanted to get hers on straight. And she begged me to talk. She's like, I want to talk. Let's talk. And any guy nowadays would not talk. No guy's going to talk. They'd be like, you cheated. Get the fuck out of me. No. Right. That's how I was at first. And then I stepped back and I listened to what I was trying to comprehend what she was saying. She never blamed me. She never said, I'm doing this because you did this. I'm doing this because I don't love you. I did this because of this. The first thing she said to me was, I'm sorry. I lost who we were. It was a mistake and it won't ever happen again. Still took me a while to believe it. But in the midst of this, I did the one thing that no man ever does in a situation like that. That's listen. I sat down and I listened to her and everything she had to say about the person I was. And then she sat there and listened to me talk about how I felt about how she has been. And we got over that. We got through it. And I will tell you now, this was 2 years ago. It's the best our marriage has ever been. We communicate, we talk. She's my best friend again. That led me, after all this, I started listening to podcasts and lectures and listening to audiobooks at work. And a lot of them had to do with shadow work. So as I'm doing the shadow work, there was a point in time where my wife and I, of course, we were still fighting after all that happened. Like if nothing was just instantly happy, lovey-dovey, right back, But after that, I was still drinking. It actually caused me to drink a lot more for a little bit. And there were a couple days in a row, I would sit out on our back patio and I'd be drunk, smoking a cigarette, drinking. And the first night I saw this black shadow just run across my backyard. I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. next night, again, I'm back patio, drinking a beer, smoking a cigarette, except this time I see it peek around the side of my house. Next night, same thing, except it's hovering over me. And I just feel this thing. And I go, what if we were to put our vices and the negative things about me to a shadow and put a name to it? And then I'm started learning more of the shadow work. And it says your shadow, it's literally like a child. It wants your attention. You have to be able to control it. Say yes, say no. You can't ever get rid of it. It's like your ego. You're stuck with it. You just got to control it. So I started realizing that. And I started listening again to more podcasts, more lectures, more people talking about shadow work. And then neuroplasticity started getting into the mix. And I'm like, noticing my mind is changing on everything. And one of the things I did is I cut out music. I stopped listening to music. If anybody knows me, music's my life. Yeah. I cut it out. I stopped listening to all of the bands that I loved. All of my favorite bands, I just stopped listening to. I sat down one day and I'm like, why am I continuously listening to music that reminds me of the shit that I'm trying to get over? All that music does is it gives you a reminder. It's not help. Yeah, you can relate to it, but it's reminding you. And so as I'm listening to these lectures and these teachers and people and listening to audiobooks, neuroplasticity came in. And if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's the rewiring of the mind and your mindset and the way you think. Scientists have always said that once you hit 25, your mind is already made up. There is no changing it. Well, I can tell you now that is complete BS because I will be 38 this year and it is possible. So in the midst of learning neuroplasticity, I started going, wow, you can rewire your mind. You can change your brain. And I sat down one day and I'm like, you know what? I'm just tired of this. I want to know what it's like to be happy. And I go, I'm just going to do it. I am just going to tell myself I'm happy. I'm going to tell myself I have a happy life. I started letting everything during the day that would irritate me or make me mad or would make me get mad at my kids or mad at my wife. And I just let it go. I'm like, why? Yeah. And then the funny thing happened. You know what the funniest thing happened? I realized I actually was happy. Mm-hmm. I realized how happy I really was in the life that I was sitting back saying I hated.
It's because a lot of people focus on negativity. They don't focus on the good things.
Right. We judge, we compare, mm-hmm. we want and want and want, but for what? Why? Your life is no better than mine, Ashley. My life is no better than yours. Our life is what we make of it. And that's mm-hmm. all that matters because it's your life, Right. So I started studying a lot of it, fell into life coaching. And I really started admiring the process. And I'm like, I can make a lot of money doing this. Look at Tony Robbins. Look at these people. Look at these mm-hmm. people. And then one of the reasons I get asked a lot why I don't have a lot of clients or why I don't do clientele or that kind of thing. And the reason is simple. I don't want to charge a lot. Right. All of these coaches charge like $10,000 a client. All of this out there, it's free knowledge. The only thing you have to do, and I'm not going to sit here and preach, and this is one thing I never thought I would say, is I looked at God and I said, this is yours. I'm done. I don't want any more of this burden. I don't want any more of this. And I took what my wife did as a life lesson. Mm-hmm. We all have something that we need to learn in life in order to move on, in order to live a fulfilling life. And one of the things I realized I had to learn in this lifetime was forgiveness. Mm-hmm. In order for me, or after I was able to forgive my wife, I looked at her and I said, you know what? I realized something.
I was like, every name I've ever called you, everything that I've ever said to you is everything I've ever wanted to say to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at her and I apologized. I messaged and I called my mom and I told my mom, I was like, I forgive you of everything. It helped me forgive my mom of all of the abuse, everything I went through as a kid. And now my mom and I have the best relationship. My wife and I have the best relationship. And honest, that's the greatest thing that I could ever ask for. And that just sums it up to where I'm at now.
And no, it's crazy because, you know, I've known you in what you would maybe consider one of your darkest moments. And I know you now, and I know you before that. And it's crazy because I don't want to say you're two completely different people, but you kind of are a little bit.
I still got my dark sense of humor. Don't get me wrong.
Well,
you know,
yeah, but that's the part we don't want you to lose. No, but I mean, it's just, it's interesting because, you know, back then when things would happen, you know, we both would complain and say, oh, this sucks and this and that. But like now I find if I'm like, oh, Mike, this sucks, I'm so mad, you change it. And you're like, well, Ash, why don't you think of it this way? And why don't you try to, you know, try to look at it at a different point? And I sit there and I'm like, dang it, he's right. and it's great because not only did you improved yourself, but now, like, without even knowing, like, you're improving the people around you and the situations around you. And
it's so weird that you say that you don't even know you're doing it. Sometimes I do know I'm doing it. Sometimes I do it on purpose because that's the job of a coach, is to make somebody think. And my wife, actually, you know, I started coaching her. That sounded
that was like 3 rooms away. I think my kid fell. He's all right. He'll be fine.
He's fine.
He's fine. There's no crying. There's no crying.
But she, after all that happened, she asked me to help coach her. Like, she wanted to live a better life and be happier. And there would be times she would text me. She still does it. She'll text me and go, I don't need a husband. I need a coach. And even when her dad passed away, she told me that she was able to get over the way she felt about her dad in the past because of how I helped her. Like, she didn't even grieve over her dad. She's had her moments. She's upset, but it was never a total meltdown. Because she's like, I've come to terms with it because you were able to help me. Well, and a lot of reason why I'm not pushing a lot of the coaching is I'm doing a little bit more studying and research. There are so many different types of coaches, and you want to stick with one. And the one that I really want to build is I want to be a forgiveness coach. I want people to learn how to forgive. You know, because what people don't understand is when you forgive somebody, you are not forgiving them. You are forgiving yourself and helping yourself move on.
Yes.
That's all it is. Everybody wants to say, well, I don't forgive them. They're evil. That's fine. That's their karma. Let God deal with it the way he wants to. But in order to move on, you have to forgive them to forgive yourself. And that's all it is.
Well, and the problem is, you know, because I tell people sometimes in a joking manner and sometimes not, but I do feel that I'm a grudge holder. And holding a grudge or being mad at somebody does nothing but hurt you. They don't care every time you hear a song and it pisses you off because it reminds you of them. They don't care that they hurt you, that they upset you. They're living their life not even thinking about you. And the only thing that you're doing is you're focused on this.
Hurting yourself.
Yeah, you're focused on this hateful energy toward this person. And they don't even care. They don't even acknowledge it. And it's like, all you're doing is hurting yourself. You're bringing yourself down. And, you know, Katie said light attracts light. And I think that's true because, you know, if I'm consistently negative and you're always positive, eventually you're either going to get sick of me or I'm going to get sick of you. And you're going to
probably why Ambulance and Nocte never came to light. Because we were trying to focus light on dark. Yeah. And I was in that transitional stage where, I was trying to get more lighter than I wanted to be darker, and it probably just wasn't meant for me.
Well, and I find it funny that, you bring up the darkness, because it seems like people do get attracted to the darkness, but it's for all the wrong reasons. It's not for
Because they
personal
want the light.
healing.
They want the light.
Some,
They just don't know it.
well, some people, but I think a lot of people see these shows on TV and they think the darkness is fun or powerful or whatever, and that's the way they go, or they're going to end up with the next big TV show, not
Right.
realizing it can be a dangerous place, both mentally, physically, emotionally, and it's just not, it's not a good place, and they're going to end up weeding themselves out of a lot of people's lives because of it.
Oh, absolutely.
But no, I love it with the light, and like affirmations, those are huge nowadays. I know a lot of parents tell their
still getting
kids,
used to them.
but it's true.
I've always, they are, they can do their wonders if you could stick
Mhm.
with it, and
you
you
tell
learn to
yourself-
do it properly.
Right. But I mean, if you continuously tell yourself positive things, if you look in the mirror and you say, oh, my butt is huge and I have dimples on my thighs and I have this, whether you do or not, you're going to start to believe it. But if you look in the mirror, you're like, yeah, I'm rocking these shorts and I look
But
hot in this tank top and blah, blah, blah. You're going to feel better.
That outlook. You are, absolutely. I
Mhm.
like that outlook, and I've heard it so many different ways, and I've always stuck with the one is, if you get up in the morning every day and you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, I am beautiful. I am beautiful.
Mhm.
I am beautiful. You know what that tells me? That tells me that you don't believe you're beautiful.
True.
Why don't you just get up and tell yourself you're beautiful? That's all you need to do.
Also, it's like when you compliment somebody. When you compliment somebody, you instantly notice a difference. They'll start to smile, their posture gets better, like if you're like, damn girl, that outfit looks good, they're like, oh, thanks. And then they walk a little
I
better.
don't know anything about that. A girl can do that to another girl, but I'm sure if I walked up, I'm like,
you're gonna be the creepy guy.
I'm be canceled right away.
But I mean, it is like,
I think we need to start like, what am I thinking? I think guys need to start doing that more. Like guys need to go up to guys and be like, dude, that outfit looks, that outfit slaps, bro.
No, my husband and I, we joke around because we'll be watching TV and this, like, if he's watching, he's gonna make fun of me. But like, we used to watch Sons of Anarchy, and I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but it's got, Jax Teller, which is Charlie Hunnam, and he's got this rockin' body, and he was shirtless. And even my husband's like, oh, I'd lick him. Like, complimenting other men. Like,
I mean, I told my wife I would let Zac Efron grab me. I totally would. Zac Efron.
Is that your man crush?
Not Zac Efron now, looking like He-Man, but
back like
a couple years ago,
like Baywatch or like High School Musical.
I don't know. I don't want to get too far back.
If you go too young, that's creepy.
I don't know his age right now, so
I think he's a little younger than us.
Mike and Dan Need Dates, maybe.
Maybe okay.
That was a good movie.
But
that was a good movie.
I do. I think people should start complimenting people more. I mean, it does. It changes the outlook. And one of the things I'm big on is like, you never know what somebody's going through. And Mike, you're a perfect example. You were going through all of that. And aside from your friends, no one would have known because you weren't out preaching it, So yeah, the close friends that we all knew, but you never know what somebody's going through. And that one tiny compliment could be the change of their day.
Absolutely.
It could be that one moment where they're not thinking about their dog being sick or their wife or whatever could be going on in their life. And why not be that little tiny light in someone's life?
That's all it takes is one person, I keep living. I pretty much keep living this reality where I'm at right now. And I've had many people tell me I'm in 5D, but I just keep living in this moment where I'm just waiting for something big to happen. Like, it's weird. So when we were in Myrtle Beach, real funny story. When we were in Myrtle Beach, I was sitting on the balcony and I'm just looking at the ocean and I'm thinking to myself, I look down over the balcony and I'm like, man, I really have this weird feeling that I can fly.
I'm glad you didn't try.
But the thing is what if?
Yeah.
What if you have that ability and that capability to just land and or use your mind to have the possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I started reading an article that actually came up in an email, which is weird because I don't read spam articles in my email. And it said living in 5D consciousness. And I read it, and one of the things that it says people who live in 5D consciousness can do is fly. And I'm like looking at this balcony going, oh, either I'm going to make it home or I'm not. So I tell my wife, and she goes, let's start small.
Yeah.
How about you jump off a tree?
Or like a picnic table.
And then I talked to Diet about it, and she's like, yeah, how about a picnic table first? And I'm like, but my mindset right now in this reality is the possibility of what if.
Mm-hmm.
What if we are currently witnessing biblical prophecies going on right now? What if it's actually happening?
Yes.
Like we've been getting beetles all over our house. Like we had a beetle like this big fly in my window. One of the signs, beetles start swarming.
Look at some of the things going on.
The Euphrates River's drying up. That's one.
I tell my dad all the time, and Courtney, I almost laughed at. She said, "How about a stool?"
Like a poop or a step stool?
Hopefully, a step stool.
Landing poop.
There are so many things, and I tell my dad, I'm like, it's like I mean, the Bible is like playing out right now. It's ridiculous. The rapture is.
There are. I mean, I'm not going to be one of those rapture people, but
I mean,
still in the back of my mind, there always poses that question of what if?
Mm-hmm.
What if? I never thought I would be the person to believe it. And I'm sitting back here going, you know what? I'd rather be on that light side. I'm seeing all this stuff going on. And I'm like, ooh.
No, I am the same because I watch this stuff and I'm like, oof, God, we're good, right? Like we talk every night. We're solid, right? Like we're good. And then I sit there and I'm like, listen, though, here's my little thing is like, I'm too chubby to be on the front line. So I'm going to need a desk job when all this hits the fan. Like, so God, if you could give me like paperwork, like I can't be out there like for real fighting though, but that's how my brain thinks. But no, I think you're right. I think the mind is a powerful tool and anything's possible. I mean, how many times have we talked about, people talk about these abilities and having these born abilities, but I really believe everybody has abilities. They just have to unlock it. And what if flying is one of those things you just have to unlock?
I think everybody has them. I do believe it's stuff that, we can unlock from our minds. And Courtney's comment made me think of something. So one of the things that I was going on, and Courtney, I'm pretty sure you know about this from Unfiltered, is for the longest time after Jackie was born, I kept seeing license plates that would say JCK. Consistently JCK, JCK. And the only thing that could come to my mind was Jackie would stand for Jackie. Now, I don't know how license plates work in Ohio, but it was like I would see license plate in front of me here, license plate here. Each one would begin with JCK. One behind me, JCK. Like it was constant. I would 5, 6, 7 cars around me, 4 out of the 5 would have JCK. But I've never seen mine on another vehicle in the 30 years I've been driving or whatever. So I started, I forget who it was who had mentioned Jackie. And I'm like, okay, maybe it could be Jackie. So I kept thinking about Jackie and I kept having her on my mind. So then it started becoming JMH. Now I'm constantly seeing JMH, Jackie Monroe Hatcher. Now I'm seeing JMH next to JCK, and it's just constant. So I watched this conspiracy video. Like, yes, I get into conspiracies. I love them. I will forever go down the rabbit holes. And one of them said that one of the issues, like what they are doing right now in the entertainment industry, is they are trying to ruin the youth generation right now because the chosen child has already been born and they don't know who it is. And I keep telling myself, what if all these signs is telling me I need to raise her? Because what if it could be her? these
It's
are just those,
possible.
not saying to raise her like that, but saying that possibility would raise her to be a great human being that,
Right.
she could pass that on and teach others,
Yeah.
but
And it's possible. I mean,
right.
if you think years ago, I mean, Jesus was born and, Mary had that angel come to her and people probably thought she was crazy, but it's possible. Why not? And she's
I'm just not
adorable. You
really-
should.
I mean, or watch out when she gets older.
I would
I'm
say,
gonna
is she
be in
coming?
trouble.
Normally,
I'm
when you look
no.
like that, she's coming over.
I know. No, she just went in. They were taking the dogs out.
Aw. Oh my gosh. I mean, just some of the things that you've done in the last year is absolutely incredible. And I'm super excited for everything that is coming up and everything that we have planned together as a team and all of that. And you're still doing stuff with PARAFlixx for designing and editing. Tell us a little bit about that, because we've got about 10 more minutes. So we can talk about that. We can talk.
It's nonstop. It's all I do. No, it's fun. I love working with PARAFlixx. It's, one of the things that as a designer I thought you said something. As a designer and editor, one of the things a lot of people want to do is work for networks and work for, TV and which is one thing I wanted to do, but I was approached, by PARAFlixx and I was like, yeah, let's go. And I put a whole bunch of work into it and helped, Natalie build it. We're constantly, always work. She's always working. Oh, bless that woman.
Oh, she's busy. She's a busy girl.
I know. It's so hard to get even for me to get a hold of her once in a while. Like we'll play phone tag and she'll be like, I'm in Texas. And then I'll call her. I'm in California and I'll call her and we won't talk again for 2 weeks. Just playing phone tag. So it's crazy times.
But what people don't know is you're self-taught.
Yes, I
You
am.
did not technically go to
college
school for
dropout.
this. Well, there's a lot of us like that. But
Yeah.
the fact that you're creating these incredible pieces and you're self-taught.
Yeah, it does. It takes, a lot of time, and I have shitty memory. So a lot of times it's hard for me to remember half the things I design and how to do things. So like that clip that I sent you guys the other day of the commercial that we're coming back to PARAFlixx, that whole 1 minute, I think it's like a minute and 20 some seconds, took 12 hours to do. So it can be a process. It is a process. And, there's people in the field that they just don't want to pay for that. And, it's
When people
whatever.
don't realize what goes into an episode. So I know, like when I watched some of our episodes and when I watched the stuff on PARAFlixx, like that's something I try to keep in the back of my mind. Because, some people's quality is better than others and some people's editing is better. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, the amount of time it takes to do a half-hour episode or an hour episode, like these people and you dedicated so much time to these episodes. And I just wish people would realize that before they start like spewing negativity on things.
Oh yeah, it does take a lot of time. I know when we filmed, I don't remember. It was with Dead Republic. I don't remember if it was the first or the second documentary we put out. It was the first. We had a corrupted USB or a corrupted memory card. I think I paid $50 to get it fixed, and I used 5 seconds of that clip.
Yeah.
5 seconds of that clip. So yeah, there's a lot, like software crashes, computer issues. Like I'm still running an old, what am I on, Catalina still, because the new updates don't run Final Cut Pro, so I can't use that on anything else other than the one I have. So my computer is running slow. Yeah, there's it's
in
not even
different
just
formats.
editing, it's everything. Oh yeah.
Well, even tonight, you're like, well, the video is not that format. Like, just things that people don't think about and how much work goes into it.
Yeah, you definitely have different dimensions on like sizes for PARAFlixx, sizes for
way to name drop.
different dimensions.
Different dimensions of
Well, yeah, like TikTok has a different size. You got to edit your video to the size of TikTok, the size of Instagram, and there is, I have 11 terabytes of backup storage just because how big these are. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sitting on. Anybody want 30,000 fonts? I'll sell them to you. Yeah, that's how many fonts I have.
But we need
30,000.
them. No, we need them for ours.
I stick to the basic 3.
Well, since we're getting a little bit closer to the end of the time, tell us about the event going on at Hinsdale. Tell us about the Paracon that's going to be happening in October. Sell yourself, Mike.
Well, this is going to be terrible because I don't remember the name of the Paracon.
Rock Island.
Rock Island, that is right.
Rock Island.
I told you I am very forget. If I don't have something written down in my face, I will forget.
See, that's why I'm here. Remember, you used to say you'd make a great secretary.
Yes, the Hinsdale House event. So upset Ashley can't go. We are excited to be there. It's me, Robin, Melody Knapp, Dan Class, John Ward, Paul Kenyon. We're all coming together. It's a 2-night camp. You are camping out. You can sleep in the house if you want, if people aren't investigating, but it's pretty much a free show. Do whatever you want, swim, fish, dive in the pond, go on hikes, investigate, kayak, hang out. And that's all it is. It's just a fun weekend for people to spend 2 nights at one of the most haunted active, locations in the US. Then of course, October 7th is Rock Island Paracon. Super excited to be on. The Dimensions is going to be there. And
they're a great team, I've heard.
hint, hint. We're working on shirts. Hint, wink, wink. We're in process of merch for this event. So, I think before that event, we'll discuss this option actually. And then next year, it's a long time out, but I am a guest speaker at Spirits in the Spring at Broadhead Manor in Wisconsin. I know tickets aren't available for that yet, but I'm excited for that. And I don't know what to talk about. I do not know what to talk about. When you do a Paracon, do you want to talk life coaching or do you want to talk paranormal?
I think a good mix. Talk about how the paranormal affected life coaching and how life coaching affects paranormal. Because some people just go into the paranormal looking for the jump scare, not realizing there's stories to be told. There's people to be respected. You could go that avenue.
This is true. That's kind of what I've been wanting to do. I'm glad somebody else other than my wife could tell me that, because my wife's the only person I talk to anymore.
Well, hey, that happens. Life gets busy.
I know.
And then the Paracon that we're doing in October is right after we're filming for Beyond the Dimensions Resurrection 2.0. So it'll be right after the first filming. So we will have
I don't
probably
think
good stories.
No, it won't be out yet, but we can share some stuff.
Because if you can edit it and get it out in a week, I'd be highly impressed.
It'd be
It's gonna take the girls a lot longer to go through the evidence before the Paracon, so we're not gonna get it done.
Yeah, it'll get done. You know me, I can't spend all that time and not release anything.
I know, but Saturday the episodes are coming back out, so I want to know what everybody thinks of them. I mean, they're a year old.
Let Ashley know.
I mean, we're older. We're a little wiser, a little smarter, not as jumpy.
Quality will get better. But yeah, they are. If you're not on PARAFlixx, head over to PARAFlixx. You can download it on Roku, Google, Chromecast, Apple TV, Samsung TV, and use code BTD25. And as we just found out, you get 25% off your annual subscription, not just the first 3 months. So that's pretty cool. Yes,
it's better that way. So sign up. Let us know what you guys think. See if there's any odd experiments you want us to try. Any sensories, solos. We can send Mike somewhere scary. All that fun stuff. But you're the only investigator I know scared of the dark. But on that note, thank you for joining me tonight, Mike. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I miss and love you, and I'll see you soon.
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. And everyone, we will be back next week. I have Rebecca Pittman on next week. We're going to be talking her Alex Murdaugh book. So I'm excited to talk to her. Until then, everyone have a great weekend.
Bye. See you Tuesday, Courtney.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.